Porter, I asked you this earlier this year. Does this count as winter, or are we still not close to winter in Oklahoma yet with the weather?
No, it's just another day at the office. Another day at the office.
Okay.
I
This is in Chicago. Nothing
Yeah.
like Chicago then, huh?
No, we were.
Ranchek kind of made fun of this.
No, I know their solution for snow removal is the sun.
Well, I wanted to ask you about Saturday's game. You're facing an Oklahoma State team that really, how dangerous does it make them when they know when their season is going to come to an end and they know there's just limited opportunities to play basketball? Does that make them a little bit more of a dangerous team?
So much respect for how hard they're playing through all this. I mean, that was a complete war, their Baylor game. We felt it when we played them. They're playing really, really hard. They're older guys that are playing with a lot of pride. They're really good. I mean, defensively, they're one of the best teams in the country defending the two. Shot blocking, look at the numbers, them defending the two. So, we just have a lot of respect for their team.
Porter, I appreciate it. Good luck tomorrow. Okay, we'll see you then.
Thank you.
Jesse Crittenden.
Porter, how are you?
Good.
Hey, I just wanted to ask you, you've talked, especially after the Iowa State game, about needing guys to step up, needing guys to have good performances, especially with Elijah out. Just what do you look for from them in terms of, trying to be aggressive, needing to step up while also not pushing themselves too far, taking bad shots, things like that?
Yeah, we just need consistency. Be who you are. We had a bunch of plays and we kind of labeled them in our highlight thing of doing things that aren't who we are. Like we had we took a cup, Tanner drove from the perimeter, did like a spin move, got stolen. Ethan then did the same thing. Then Jordan comes out of a timeout and he takes this really high degree of difficulty. Just let it come to you. Play with, be who you are. Play to your strengths. Be consistent. Be a two-way player. Those with Elijah out, the other four guys that have started most of the year, Tanner, Jalen, Jordan, and Mo. Those four guys, they got to play well. We got to coach them well. They got to play well. They got to play to their strengths. And because we're coming off the bench with three freshmen, Ethan and Jacob's in that starting role now. And I think we're gonna be able to get Marvin a little bit more minutes. He played a couple minutes last game and he did okay. So I think we're gonna be able to get Marvin back in there and get some minutes. We got to look for consistency and play to your strengths. Don't try to do things you're not capable of doing. And that comes from wanting it so bad. Some of them want to just do it and make the right play, and they do things that aren't capable. It's like my coach, Tony Baroni. He said to me, Porter, you got to play to your strengths. Spot up and shoot it and throw it in the post. I had a no dribble rule in warmups. That's how bad my ball handling was. And I played to my strengths. I didn't try to go create off the dribble and do things I couldn't. We got to play to our strengths.
Well, just to follow on that, you mentioned Tanner. Obviously, he had a pretty good scoring outing when you guys went down to Stillwater a couple of weeks ago. I mean, how much do you need from him? Do you expect Oklahoma State to play him differently? How is that like with Tanner?
They did a handful of different things. They iced ball screens. They switched ball screens. They did some different things. So I anticipate them. They played some zone. I'm anticipating them doing the same thing, sprinkling different looks at it. I did think Tanner had a good game. And, to your point as well, we need to be able to count on, 4 or 5 guys playing well, and we didn't really have anybody play very well at Texas Tech. And we're going to get better production. I really liked how we've practiced and prepared since that game. And, we got to get that belief in ourselves back. We got to get that belief in ourselves back.
I appreciate it, Porter.
Bob Prisbillo.
Along those lines, Porter, you mentioned the word fragile, I think, for the first time the entire season. I imagine you're talking about the younger guys. So how important were the last 3 days with Bijan and CJ? And did you do anything different in terms of how you've been coaching them or anything like that?
No, but I did talk to him about, sometimes younger guys, they see that they got a lot of time left, a lot of years left. And sometimes there's not as much urgency from a young guy as there is on a senior. And I did talk to him about that angle going, we got some guys that are playing their, this is their last spring. This is their last, they got 3 regular season games in a Big 12 tournament. We still got an opportunity to get hot, to get into the NCAA tournament. And I said, if anything, do it for your teammate, like be locked in, being prepared and being on scouting and being on another team's strength, that shows a level of dedication, commitment that you're on it. And, we really talk to those young guys, be on it, whether it's 5 minutes you're going to play the game, be ready to contribute. And, there's someone told me yesterday, I think there's 6 or 7 freshmen in the Big 12 that have been in a Big 12 game with the game on the line. And we have 3 of them. That's what I was told. I mean, Baylor's got the 2, McDonald's All-American, Sochan and Kendall Brown. I know Tyrese Hunter. I know KJ Adams has been in some games. I know that. But there's a lot of teams aren't playing freshmen. And, I don't think Oklahoma State is. Texas isn't. Or those guys aren't. TCU's not. I don't think West Virginia is. Kansas State's not. So if you freshmen, make those minutes count, man. And so we watched film, we did all with them, but just trying to Texas Tech and that crowd, and they're older, they can overwhelm you in being a young guy in that situation. And we need them. We need them coming in. We need those freshmen to come in and play well.
And then we'll flip it. Talk about Marvin Johnson, how hard he fought to get back from that injury and the type of focus he's been starting to show.
Yeah, he fought so hard to get into. He had just gone through a number of things to get to the point where we put him in the West Virginia game, and he did great. Helped us win that West Virginia game. And then the very next game, he had a high ankle sprain, which those are the worst. So he's been working hard to get back. Gave us a couple good minutes at Texas Tech. He's practiced the last couple of days, and we anticipate him being maybe some more minutes this next game tomorrow.
Appreciate it, Porter.
James Hale.
Hey, Porter, you talked about, it was fascinating you talking about the attack on Tanner in the first game. To me, this is the game within the game coming up on Saturday. Boone had a pretty good game. The Boone brothers did. And then, of course, they've got a 6'11", 7-footer that they also play. Talk about the inside play in this game, because Chagua usually handles size pretty well. And, so talk about this aspect of the game coming up tomorrow, if you don't mind, please.
They probably posted up more than we've had anybody post up against us, even more than like Kansas. I mean, they really went to trying to isolate and post us up in the post. And so we've got to be disciplined, and whether they're trying to get Tanner in foul trouble or whether they feel like they have an advantage in there, they posted up Boone, they posted up Cisse, they posted up Likely, they posted up a lot of guys in there. So we've got to be ready, be physical, try to make tough twos. But James, you're right. They posted up a lot against us. And then conversely, we did too. Tanner got some good looks in the post. And so you don't, a lot of the games, sometimes you're seeing teams going away from the true post-ups. It's so perimeter oriented now, dribble drive, threes, transition. That game seemed to have a lot of post-ups the first time we played on both sides.
Thanks, Porter. Good luck Saturday.
Thanks.
Justin Martinez.
Hey, Porter, appreciate taking time to talk to us. Just what's been your message to Mo lately? Teams have really been keying in on him, trying to contain him, especially since that 30-point outing against Tech. Is there things you guys can do to maybe free him up some more? Is it just a matter of him knocking down his shots? What's been the message to him?
Little of both, coming up with some things where we can free him up. Definitely looking at that and doing that. To stay positive and not to put so much pressure on yourself. To let him know that at times he's been really good creating shots for others, to let him know that he's a weapon. So if they are so much concerned about him, that's opening up some other driving lanes for some other guys, to be a two-way player, that's kind of the buzzword for NBA wannabes and people that want to get there, is to be a two-way player, a 3-and-D guy. Those are things that your defense, don't let that be affected if you're not getting as many shots. Let him know that we're continue to try to get him shots, and he's going to keep working to, work hard to set things up, get open. Just all positive messages to him about having him play well. and that he can do a lot of other things too. And we're gonna free him up for some shots.
Appreciate it. Best of luck.
Yep.
Ryan Chapman with the final question for Coach.
Hey, Porter, when you look at the two big rivalries here, Texas and OSU, you and Texas are in a similar spot as far as coaching staff turnover, lots of transfers coming in. And when you look at you versus Oklahoma State, like a lot of those guys have been there for a long time, have experienced a lot of this rivalry. Really, outside of the first game this year, you've got Jalen and Mo. How unique is that just as far as your coaching career, having a rivalry game like this where it seems like there's, in this game specifically, like an experience disparity, but does that even really matter on the floor?
I think it always matters. I think that you're seeing around the country how some of these teams are old. Certain teams that are doing really well are older guys. And it just, you try to get old and then you got to stay old. And we're in our first year. You got to develop, keep them, get some continuity, but you got to get old. It's just the way it's what the nature is right now in college basketball, with people getting extra years because of the COVID year. All of a sudden you're seeing guys, these 18-year-olds, they're struggling so much because they got to play against 22, 23-year-old men. And, to have experience is everything. It means a lot. Hopefully we've had some, hopefully for us that there's nothing we can do about the experience. What we can do is our confidence, playing well. We got to get going again. That's kind of been what we talk about. I can talk to you guys about the experience, but there's really, what am I going to do about it? We got to just keep playing, getting better. And, but I do think that being old and having veterans and guys that have been around has been a key in college basketball, watching it across the country.
Thanks, Porter.